All right, it's your boy D. I'm here with. What do we call you now?
What? I'm just the
Are you
same
Muffin,
thing I've always
Muffin
been.
the Gamer?
Yeah, or
Okay.
Murder Muffin. Either or.
We're here with Murder Muffin. You can check out his channel. Which
Muffin
channel?
the Gamer.
Muffin the Gamer. And we're here to talk about Black Adam. Now, just a quick warning: we are going to be spoiler filled. We're going to talk about this very in depth. So, listen and enjoy the ride. So, I for one thought it was okay. But Muffin here.
I thought it was really good.
Why?
Okay, by like really good, I mean like 8 out of 10. Like it's not perfect, right? And we've talked about it already a little bit about how like obviously there are a bunch of major problems with it.
Right.
I just thought of a lot of like especially superhero films recently. It was just enjoyable to watch compared to trying to like keep up with a whole bunch of different lore or whatever and trying to connect all these different characters in like the last 20 films or whatever, like we've seen with Marvel, especially with Doctor Strange. It was just like, yo, here's a dude and he's gonna kill some people, and then he did, and that was it. And it was chill. Let's see lightning go everywhere, baby.
Okay.
Blam!
While the lightning effect, while itself was okay, this is an introduction movie to a character. Okay. Now, we did get a backstory of him being in pre-Babylonian, it was a BCE.
It was like 5 BCE.
Yeah. I didn't even know what BCE was. I know BCE, but...
BCE it's just a more recent version of BC.
Okay. All right.
Like, I think BC is like before...
It was like before Christ, I believe.
Before Christ, but BCE is like before current era.
Okay.
Something like that.
Whatever.
Same thing.
Nevertheless, so we do get his backstory, and that's all fine and dandy. But then we're thrust into some I hate to say it, some major plot errors. Because first we have this...
I don't know about that.
Well, first we have Eternium, which is, I guess, DC's version of Vibranium, where it's something.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest complaint, is that everything here you just kind of have to substitute it with what you know.
Yeah.
in Marvel. It's like...
Well, you didn't have to that one just is. Okay? Like okay, I know you're going to bring up the other superheroes, but I don't think that you have to replace Eternium with Vibranium. I don't think you have to do that. I think it's its own analog, but I think you just are. I do agree with the superhero, but I don't think with the Eternium.
Well, Eternium, they don't even say what it is. It's just we have to fight Eternium, and it's like...
They say that it's a magical crystal that connects them to the demons.
Okay, that's fine. You make Eternium to make a crown to make it to the demon world. I was okay with that.
Yeah.
But then later on, we find out you can make flying cars and weapons and shields, and it's like, okay, wait a second.
Okay, fair enough. But it's a little magic crystal.
So it turned into basically Vibranium. It's like, okay.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It's
like,
magic. When are they making airships out of Vibranium? That's not a thing.
They probably will.
Well, and then they're copying Eternium.
Well, then the other thing is that, the mercenaries that, are mining this thing that's taking over this island or whatever it is.
It's a country.
Right, but I think it's an island country, ain't it?
No, it's an Egypt analog.
Okay.
It's like in the middle of Africa.
I thought it was an island country. Anyway.
It's on the coast.
The mercenaries that have, occupied this country, this fictional country, right?
Mm-hmm. What were they called? I could not tell what they were saying.
What?
What's the name of the mercenaries?
I don't know.
They come on kind of like, I can't think of it, but it was like 9/10 or some stupid.
I don't know. It in no way, shape, or form did it hold any level of caring.
Yeah,
and
fair enough.
Most of the way they expressed this mercenary group is a bunch of soldier boys.
Yeah.
Okay, but apparently there's some brains within this mercenary group because they can make these weapons.
Yeah.
But we never really see that. It's just, oh yeah, we have magical weapons or whatever. But, in action, they're shooting bullets and just sort of, they are military. It just seems like a military whatever.
Well, it's still like a rare material, so they don't use it for like just everything. Eternium.
Right. Well, once again, the movie doesn't tell us that.
Yeah, it does.
What? It just says, hey, we can go to the demon
It
world
goes
and
it's
make
an
weapons.
extremely rare material,
Only
so
here.
they enslaved the entire country.
Yeah, only this whole country has it.
Yes.
How do they know that only this country has it?
Because it's not found anywhere else. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's very explicitly stated, but then also I feel like there's even a cool visual analog on how we know that it's pretty rare. In that, every time we see the military fighting, there's only one time we see them use an Eternium weapon, and it's a guy has to pull out a special case, and it's only after everyone else has died that he pulls out this special case to try and fire an Eternium missile.
Right. Which apparently
me, it
hurts
was
Black
like-
Adam for a second until he, zaps himself.
Yeah, he
Okay.
can sell magic surgery,
Yeah.
magic stitches.
Okay.
Couldn't do that immediately, but took a nap and
Yeah,
got back up.
exactly.
Hey, my
And somewhere
skin's
in that nap, he learned English.
Yep.
So the Eternium taught him English, I guess.
Well, he technically learned English before that because the guy went behind you and he went, "Oop,"
Okay.
but he wasn't looking at him, so he couldn't see the pointing. So he knew English.
I'm going to go with the magic crystal taught him English. Because, once again, he just wakes up and now he can speak English.
It doesn't make sense, but I'm actually glad that they just skipped over the whole "how did he learn English" thing. Because I'm glad they didn't take 5 minutes of The Rock, supposed to be this real intimidating, like, big muscle dude, going, "Plant? Coffee?" Like, I'm so glad they didn't do that.
Which is fine, but you could have made at least something that's 30 seconds worth of something magic-wise.
I mean, they didn't do it with Thor.
They spoke English in Asgard.
They shouldn't.
But they did, so we could just go, okay, they already
Doesn't
know
make
English.
sense, they're Norse.
Where here, these guys are speaking Arabic or Egyptian or whatever, and then
Kondakian.
whatever, Kandakese, whatever. He gets resurrected or whatever,
Which is
starts
crazy
speaking the
'cause-
language, gets knocked out by the Eternium missile, and then wakes up speaking English.
Yeah. I'm glad they skipped over it.
Okay.
Like I said, I was like, I think that if they gave it any mind, you'd have to go, oh, that's stupid as hell, because there's no good explanation
So
on
just-
how this guy suddenly learns English.
So just ignore
I'm
it.
glad they ignored it entirely. Otherwise, they have to go, oh yeah, like he's gonna like read one book and go, oh, I have instant intelligence, so I learned your entire language in 5 seconds, and then you're gonna go the entire movie going, oh, but he's a big brute idiot. How did he learn English but nothing else? I'm perfectly fine. They skimmed over it entirely, instead of him like absorbing it or something.
That's the entire movie. Once again, Hawkman. Okay, who's apparently the leader, and he gets called up by Amanda Waller and says, which we've already established in previous DC movies, at least 3, that she's a person who can't be trusted. But
no, she can't be trusted to bad guys.
No, even to good guys.
Who'd she do that to?
Well, she threatened Bruce Wayne in one of the movies.
Okay, but Bruce Wayne's a vigilante, ergo partially a bad guy.
No, he's not.
Vigilante is against the law, and a lot of those types of characters, like Amanda Waller, hate those. People who won't be under their thumb.
Hell, she shot half her crew in the first Suicide Squad. No, the entire crew.
Did she?
Yes.
Why?
Because she's an ass.
No, she had to have a reason.
No.
There's no way she just went blam.
It was Enchantress who was waving her arms and whatever, and then she had to leave her little building, whatever, and she shoots everybody and leaves.
Huh. I vaguely
She's like,
remember
it's
this.
like, it's time for me to go. Blam, 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 and then walks out. I'm like,
You know what? It
holy
was for
snap!
the greater good.
This woman,
It was for
this
the
woman has
greater
no heart. But it's not even a manipulation of JSA. She just goes, "Hey, this guy took out some mercenaries," and Hawkman, who I keep wanting to say Hawkeye.
She doesn't even go, this guy took out some mercenaries. She just goes, yeah, he's 8,000 years old, or 5,000 years old. Go get him. That's it. She didn't go, he's old.
And Hawkman was like, "Okay."
Yep.
And she's
I got some newbies and a god with me.
Yeah. And she goes, "Sorry, that's my laptop. I mean, my tablet that's going absolutely nuts." So he's like, "Okay." And she goes, "Okay, who's your team?" "Oh, well, I'm going to pick the best of the best. I'm going to pick a guy who hasn't been in action in 10 years and 2 kids who have not
never
seen
been in action ever.
at all."
I've also never worked with them. And
Yeah.
their abilities kind of don't do much.
I mean, how did they recruit them? We don't know. They just show up. I mean, at least send them a golden ticket or something. I mean, or an email or something. They just show up. So, and Dr. Fate, and, you know, who I know absolutely nothing. You know way more than I do.
Yeah.
But, you know, he just shows up with his little golden helmet.
I actually really wish they did pay more attention to Dr. Fate, because even little Wind Lady was like, oh yeah, he's basically possessed when he puts the helmet on, which he's actually supposed to be. There's a guy inside the helmet who's like a god, Fate dude, and Dr. Fate is that guy. The guy who puts it on hates putting on the helmet. He's literally like scared to do it most of the time. And he goes, I don't want to put the helmet on, because when he does, he knows he's going to be trapped as a slave for the next like 12 years.
All we got is a British dude who's got...
You can tell the future. And,
yeah, you can tell the future.
And kind of crystals.
Where have we seen that before? His name is B and his last name rhymes with Umberbatch. I mean, once again, you can't help but go Doctor Strange, maybe, or... once again, we have no idea who this guy is.
I don't understand why you care so much about this brand identity, bro.
I'm just saying...
Would you rather them just go through the... Because they kind of have a very similar origin. So, like, what are they supposed to do? Just show you the exact same thing?
Well, if there's...
You're just going to do the same thing.
If there's an alien in his helmet, at least give me something.
They did say that. I mean,
no,
not enough.
They didn't say anything.
Well, no, she did say it. They just didn't follow up with it. That's what was annoying. Is she goes, he's basically possessed when he has the helmet on. But then he's never possessed, ever. And we see nothing about that conflict. That was stupid.
But that's how this movie is the entire way. It's just little snippets and just inconsistencies from beginning to end.
Yeah, but it was fun to watch.
We have Atom Smasher. Ant-Man.
What did that have to do with anything? What does this have to do with inconsistencies?
I mean, the entire movie... Well, we'll get to that part. Okay. But we have the JSA, who's, okay, we're going to take this guy out who's obviously bad, but we're going to grab our weakest of people.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Then, even though they have Superman, apparently.
Superman, I'm presuming, maybe a little bit of access to Batman, but probably not sure which one to grab.
So they grab Hawkman and Atom Smasher's grandson, Atom Smasher Jr.
Or the third.
Yeah, the third. Trey.
And Wind Chick.
Yeah, and Wind Lady.
Who's
she had nanobots and was able to heal people, so that was also cool.
Well, then she should have been the one that healed Black Adam. That would have been at least giving her a little bit more.
Maybe, but she healed the son, or she healed someone.
I don't remember. She was so...
Actually, I think she healed the son.
Irrelevant.
No, she wasn't. Atom Smasher was way more irrelevant.
Yeah, he was too.
You're hating on her.
It could have been just damn Dr. Fate and Hawkman.
Pretty much, yeah. But they were green, man. They tried their best.
Whatever.
I like all the green sushi. Sushi wind.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't just wind; it was multicolored wind.
Yeah.
Now, I will say the movie itself, visually, looked good. The visual effects looked nice. Looked way better than anything from Doctor Strange or Thor. Okay. And, you know, when they were flying around the country, you had your nice blues from the sea, and the sand looked nice and brown. Everything looked well.
Yeah. Okay, so here's another thing, right? I think I was just like, I heard kind of vaguely that the movie was just mid, right? And so when I went to see it, I was like, oh, I'm expecting this movie to be just like annoying,
right?
Kind of like Doctor Strange was. And then it wasn't. And I think that's probably why I'm giving it more praise than maybe some other people are. But I definitely don't think it's mid like a lot of people are putting it out there. I thought it was just fun.
I thought it was... mid is probably the perfect word.
No.
Because you have The Rock, who is probably one of the most charismatic, entertaining people in all of Hollywood, basically show the same face in the entire movie.
Yeah.
Except when in flashback, when he's, you know, not Black Adam.
Yeah.
And he cares for his son. But even then, it's more like, hey, don't do this. Because, you know, I'm The Rock. And then when he comes Black Adam, it's just, okay, now I'm just the Rock. That's it. But just one face, though. Just, well, heroes don't kill people. I do. Is that sarcasm? Sarcasm. Oh, you should use this catchphrase. Tell him the man. Oh, stupid catchphrase, dude. I was just...
Okay, the catchphrase thing.
Corny as hell.
The catchphrase thing was dumb.
It was dumb as hell.
do agree.
I couldn't even like chuckle.
That one was. I did smirk at the last one, but the rest of it, I was like, okay.
Was it telling the Men in Black sent you?
Yeah, telling the Men in Black sent you.
Oh goodness. It's just.
Who's that?
it was just. But. And don't get me wrong, I didn't hate the movie. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure, even when I said in my non-spoiler review, I didn't hate the movie. Out of all the comic book movies, it's probably the best one. Out of Batman, Doctor Strange, Thor, and Black Adam, this is probably...
I think Thor is comparable. No, if not better.
Thor was...
Your hate for Thor is unwarranted.
Was just...
I think you're a bad judge of movies. I'm going to be honest. Because this movie was fun.
This movie was...
Homie's like, oh, what? Oh, you are my enemies, so I'm gonna kill you. And then they're like, well, there's sometimes advantages to letting them survive. And he's like,
that I will say I did kind of enjoy that, where he lifted him up in the sky.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I waited for you. I'm like, okay, but
he gave him some sass.
Even he gave him some sass, but what was even more, I wish his face was a little bit more sassy. His face just had the delivery was exactly the same. That's why I waited for you. I'm like,
I liked that he was so consistent.
I was like, dude, you could have.
I really did. I'm glad he didn't do no like.
Oh no,
raisin.
You're right. You're right. I didn't want him to be jokey joke.
Yeah.
Okay, no, because that's just not the. I know that's not the character. Okay, but still, just the exact same look the entire time was a little.
It's crazy that I didn't do no like real angry types of bit.
I would even preferred that something really angry. And you told me outside of this recording that Black Adam is supposed to be an evil guy.
That's my.
I would have preferred evil.
My understanding of Black Adam is he's literally. I think the people of Kahndaq like him. But I think he's literally a tyrant. And that's fine. Make him evil. I might also be misunderstood. DC's not one like my proficiency. I care more about Marvel, but he's almost like an unwielding ruler of Kahndaq. Right. But he cares about Kahndaq so much. So like, I don't know. Maybe there's different iterations of him. A lot of characters in DC have very different origin stories and stuff. But I was kind of okay with him being more just like, oh, I'm trying to help free Kahndaq, or I'm just trying to be good for my son's memory or whatever. But I do wish there were moments of part of the setup of his character and why the JSA or whatever is after him in the first place is supposed to be he's unbridled rage or whatever, and it's dangerous to the area around him. But he kind of does it a little bit where he almost explodes fighting Sabak, and then once while fighting the other guys, the JSA. But you never really see him going ape. Or real just pissed off or losing it. It's more of just he explodes electricity, and there's no indicator of it.
And I think I'll go one step further is when he's looking at the statue of his son. Okay, obviously he regrets and has remorse, but you don't see it in his face at all. He just has a blank look, and I'm like, really? Emote something, please.
I thought he did. I thought he did have a decent... The entire time, I was like, he's looking at this thing real weird for someone who's looking at himself. Because I thought,
Right.
I didn't catch on at all that was supposed to be not his son. I mean, that is his son. I don't know if that's in the comics or whatnot, but it literally didn't click in my head at all.
Right.
I was like, he's looking at this thing real crazy for someone who's looking at himself like, what the heck?
Right.
And then they're like, oh, it wasn't me, it was my son. And I was like, oh, wow. Actually, I really did like that dynamic of him looking at the statue. I thought it was good.
All right, we're gonna roll back to the crown and the Eternium, whatever, because now the bad guys got the crown, right? Oh, the bad guys got the crown. They've got the little boy. They have an Eternium shield, and you brought this up earlier because one of my other complaints is the constant use of slow motion in this entire movie.
Yeah.
But you brought up a very valid point. So why don't you go ahead?
So I was saying the stupid thing that happened is this guy has, well, first of all, he lowers the shield.
Right.
For some reason.
Yeah,
at the moment we don't get it, but it does make sense later.
Okay.
Right? Why he lowers the shield. But he lowers the shield and shoots at the boy, and Black Adam manages to get to the bullet, right? Which is in a fraction of a second. But in that time, this guy manages to let go of a gun, put this and get 90% close to putting a thing on his head.
The crown.
Yeah, the crown on his head. And it's like, no, sir, you do not. You're not super fast. You cannot move faster than a speeding bullet.
Right.
This makes no sense. You're a human.
Right.
You're a guy.
Right. He's human with inhuman speed all of a sudden.
Yeah, but everyone except for Black Adam moves like crazy fast. I mean, Black Adam does move pretty fast, obviously.
Right.
But like even Hawkman, like manages to jump around someone. Realizing an explosion's about to happen for some reason.
Right. And Dr. Fate is able. What one could presume he would have super fast.
I can see Dr. Fate.
Right.
Yeah, especially because he has precognition.
Right. He could have predicted.
Yeah, he knows what's going to happen.
Right.
Kinda. To at least to some effect from his visions, but yeah, there's the main bad guys. I don't even remember the dude's name until he becomes Sabak.
Yeah, I don't remember his name either.
But he's putting this crown on his head in like super, 5 times the speed of light.
One chick is Red Tornado.
Her name is Red Tornado?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
When they introduced her, it said Red Tornado somewhere on one of the words.
It's crazy how there's no red there. But yeah, the reason they lowered the shield is because he actually needed to die.
Right.
So what he was actually trying to do is instigate Black Adam to kill him.
Right.
So it didn't make sense why he dropped the shield, but also why did he put the shield on in the first place? After he had the crown. So I mean,
and then later, okay, we find out that he needs to die in order to resurrect Sabak, and we see the burnt body inside the flying ship of the JSA,
where the crown also is.
Right, where the crown also is, and his body starts to glow, and it starts to glow red, and you're like, okay, as they're finding out, hey, him dying is what leads him to Sabak to come back to life. So the body's glowing red, and then all of a sudden, Sabak comes out of the ocean.
He just goes flying out in the ocean.
wait, what?
Yeah. So what's back there?
Yeah.
He just disappeared?
Yeah. We didn't see it disappear. We didn't see it crumble in the dust or anything. It just goes red, and then the body comes out of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm having issues here.
Where does the crown go to? Because he's not wearing the crown.
No,
he's just got big horns.
Right, he's got the horns, and
so
somehow
the crown just doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
That's weird. And then there was one final thing that I really took issue with, and that was like Dr. Fate's all like, "Oh, there's no one other than Black Adam that can defeat Sabak."
Right.
Despite the fact that there are like 5 other Shazams in Minnesota or whatever.
Right.
Right. Like, let's just call them up real quick. They have the exact same powers. Of course, main Shazam has all the same powers, but I guess his brothers and sisters each have one of them or something like that. But I'm like, that's another alternative. In fact, probably should have asked them to come along on this mission.
Yeah, instead of calling Atom Smasher, which all he does is go big and win chick.
Yeah.
How about call up
Superman or the other god?
Right.
Now maybe they're like, oh, he's a boy, but I mean, I don't know.
Well, Atom Smasher, he looked like he was all of 18. And
18,
Red Tornado, she just looked like 17.
Yeah.
Because we introduced her, she's
young.
like straight out of school.
Yeah, they look real young. But even then, Bobby Bats, or I don't remember his name, Shazam, he's really young, like 14 or 13.
Well, in the first movie, he's like, but now it's been a few years, because even in the second movie, you see like he's a little bit older, so he's about 16 now, I would presume.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, I agree with you. You have Shazam, and the Shazam family, you could have brought them along.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'll even go, because we had this conversation before. Hawkman's weapon that goes from, it's a Morningstar. I did look it up. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I prefer the word mace. It's just easier to say. But it goes from mace to axe, and you said you actually saw a change.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you that. Okay, but later on in the movie, I know for a fact, in his hand, It went from Mace. It cuts to Black Adam or whoever. Comes back. It's an X. Then it cuts back to Black Adam, whoever. Then it comes back, and it's a Mace again.
No shot.
I was like, what the point was that?
No shot, dude. There's no way he didn't, like, use the weapon. Like, they were fighting the whole time.
No, this was after the fight.
So he's just standing there?
Yeah, he's just standing there.
I don't know
He's sitting there holding the mace in his hand. It cuts to Black Adam, comes back, he's got an axe in his hand. It cuts away, it comes back, and it's got a mace in his hand.
I don't remember that, but...
I mean, I maybe I put it in my brain, but I swear I'm going to go see this movie again. Just...
I love how that's the thing that's going to get you go back to see it. Just to see if the axe swaps at random spots. Not because you enjoyed the movie.
No, yeah.
Just, I got to double check this.
But you know what? At least I'm willing to see this movie again. There's pretty much no shot I will see Doctor Strange.
Yeah, no, that.
And the flying notes.
Yeah.
Or
the vampire throwing notes, magic notes.
Yeah, yes.
Oh my. Oh my, that movie is a disaster. But I thought the cool thing about this film was that, like, I actually cared about talking about it. You know,
right.
Like where with Doctor Strange, we were just like, yeah, it was bad.
Right.
But here, like, we talked about this movie last night for like an hour,
right?
And then here we are talking about it again, and it doesn't feel weird.
No.
Like, I enjoy talking about this movie, and obviously, yeah, there's a lot of problems with it. I absolutely agree. Like, literally, even the setup, they're like, oh, this mineral is super rare, and we put slaves all over the entire country, and this guy reaches into like a pocket of sand and pulls out like a full hand-sized chunk of Eternium. And it's like, okay, it's not that rare, and first of all, minerals don't work that way.
Right.
Like, you can't pull a diamond out of a thing of, quicksand.
I mean, ultimately, watching this movie, like I said, I didn't hate it, but 90% of the movie is more or less forgettable. Like we both agreed, we don't remember the bad guy's name other than Sabak. 90% of the characters we can't remember other than Dr. Fate and Hawkman, and even did they even say Hawkman's name? We just see him, and we just
did, but they never called him Hawkman.
Right.
I don't think a single time, but they did call. I don't remember. My brain's saying Chapman, but that's wrong.
Okay.
I know it's wrong.
So.
But they did say his name. Especially, like, Waller definitely referred to him by his name.
It just felt incomplete. I guess that's my thing. Is like, there was just so many gaps with different things.
I think you had a good argument that, like, a lot of stuff wasn't set up. So, like, we're not going to remember, like, a lot of these characters' names. Because, one, we're not familiar with them at all. But then we don't follow any of them long enough to really get to know any of them.
Right.
So, even if they said, Hawkman's name... maybe like twice, and we didn't really like sit there and follow him for a while and really go, okay, his name is blah, that's who he is, let's learn about him. That really didn't happen. I don't remember the main chick's name. I don't remember her son's name. I can remember Teth Adam,
right?
Because that they mention him like 200 times,
right? And
he's the main character. But a lot of these other characters, I don't even remember what the bad organization's name was. I remember Teth Adam, Sabak.
Where at least with, and I'm going to say this again with Marvel movies, you remember, Hydra. You remember the bad guy is, Loki and Avengers, and everything's kind of, you kind of can tell the story from beginning to end with a lot of those movies. Where this one is like, well, Black Adam killed a bunch of people.
Yep.
Like, anything else? Why? Not really.
Well, and we talked about this also. It's part of because the DC doesn't have like this long setup history or whatever, right? Like, if you go back to like the first Iron Man movie, do you remember the name of the general? That was like kind of the antagonist to not Iron Man, Hulk. Like the name of the general.
Thunder Ross?
Oh, his name's Thunderbolt Ross. Actually, yeah, you're kind of close. I mean, you're kind of right. That's crazy. I think most people wouldn't remember him at all. Right?
Fair enough.
But or even the guy who became Abomination. I don't think anyone
Emil Blonsky.
Okay, that's because of She-Hulk.
Well, I knew it before She-Hulk.
No, you didn't.
I did too.
No, you didn't.
It's played by Tim Roth. He's one of my favorite actors of all time.
Yeah.
But then you had the other guy who almost became like Mr. What his brain was starting to... I guess he's called the leader.
Oh, I didn't even get that.
Yeah.
I didn't get the
Cause you see the
talisman
Hulk
later.
blood go into his bloodstream on his head.
Yeah.
And it started to grow.
But he doesn't he just die?
No, he starts to smile and then it just cuts away.
Oh, okay. Is he in S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No, no, we don't see him at all.
Oh, okay.
But I knew Emil Blonsky because, I pay attention.
I think most people would not
Fair
remember
enough.
his name at all.
Fair enough.
Right? But
But
obviously
this was even more forgettable where a person like me who's paying attention didn't remember.
You were not paying attention.
Whatever.
Huh? You don't remember the guy's axe changing.
Because
Even though he clearly does the whole time
either
where he changes
A,
his
it
axe.
didn't happen, or B, it was so... Whatever. Anyway.
They did a whole, not slow motion, but like a full, still.
So, all in all, to wrap this up. You liked it.
I really did. Yeah.
Okay. So...
I was very delightfully surprised on how much I enjoyed watching it.
So, the word came out that there's actually a sequel in progress coming pretty soon. So, you're ready to go day one.
Yeah.
I'll probably go see the sequel on day one as well. Okay, just because to see if they've made any improvements. and I'm really hoping they are, because this movie was just an inconsequential mess. I really hope that they sit down and go, okay, a lot of what people are saying, how do we make this an actual story?
I think they set up a really good state, like board state or whatever, for the universe now. And anything they want to do with future films, of at least they now always have this powder keg of you have Kahndaq, and they are probably doing some type of revolution type thing that is at odds with a lot of the rest of the world. And I think that's a kind of cool thing that's always at least going to be sitting there in the DC universe that you can kind of always lean on, in the same way that in a lot of the MCU, they tend to reference the what's the Russian country?
Slovakia?
Slovakia.
Right.
Is it Slovakia? No, it's not Slovakia. That's a real country.
No. Oh, wait. I just remember, was this either Slovakia Accords or... Nevertheless, keep going.
Where the Romanovs are from.
Well, in the real world, that was Russia.
What?
In the real world, the
What's her
Romanov...
name? Last name not Romanov? Wanda. It's Wanda Romanov.
Fair enough.
I think.
I thought you meant like the Romanovs from
No,
Russia.
not Anastasia.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's...
No, I think her last name is Romanov. Wanda.
Or was it Wanda Maximoff?
Maximoff. That might be it. Them.
Okay.
Their country, where they talk about that all the time.
Yeah, they're from... I think they're from...
It's not Slovakia.
Sokovia.
Sarkovia.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sarkovia. So yeah, kind of like how that's kind of like a thing that you can always reference to.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of go back. They reference that so many times, like in Civil War,
WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Right. Sorry about that, folks. Some people... Go ahead.
Or they even bring it up in just a bunch of different places. I think that they now have a setup that can interact with the rest of the world in some kind of interesting way, and so that makes me excited for not even just a Black Adam 2, but even the next Superman or.
Okay, so one last thing, because I know we're way past half an hour. Where do you think we go from here? Because we had the cameo with Superman, where he's like, "Hey, you make Amanda Waller nervous. That interests me." Do you think they're going to set up a Black Adam versus Superman movie? Because really, what do you do with Black Adam after this?
Well, you definitely have to have Black Adam versus Shazam. That has to happen.
Okay.
Because literally the powers are basically the same thing.
Okay.
Right? So there's got to be some kind of competition with the champion, especially because we see the Black Wizard in the trailers for Shazam 2. We've seen the Wizard. And he's the only one left. I don't know how he's still alive. That would be interesting. So whatever happens in Shazam 2 is definitely going to probably change. It seems pretty self-contained, but it should set up probably another board state. But I don't think it would be Superman versus Black Adam. I actually wouldn't be surprised if it's Shazam versus Superman, and it's because Shazam is trying to like defend Black Adam in some kind of way out of kinship.
Interesting.
I think that it sounds weird, but as far as I'm aware, at least like comic wise, I don't think Black Adam and Superman ever go at it. But I know that Superman and Shazam do. And I think that would be kind of interesting if Shazam. This might sound stupid to anyone who knows anything about comics if I'm extremely wrong, but I think that if Shazam went like, oh dude, there's someone else that's like me, right, and then like sought some kind of like father figure type deal, and then Superman was like put against Black Adam, and then Shazam gets in the middle of it.
I don't know. I think they're probably setting it up for a Superman versus Black Adam. I think market-wise, DC would probably be able to pull more dollars with something like that, and they'll probably set it up to where Amanda Waller manipulates Black Adam into thinking Superman, did something to him, or is going to do something to the country, or something like that. I think somewhere Amanda Waller is going to set them up to fight each other. That's what it seems to me. So, anyway, we'll look forward to it. I'm guessing it'll probably be out, 2024 maybe.
Yeah.
If it's already being, if it's already been greenlit and pushed forward, so yeah. I give it 2 years. But anyway, thank you, Muffin the Gamer. If you want to go see his YouTube channel. He's on regularly, and I post every once in a while.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. You guys have been awesome. And if you like what I had to say, or what we had to say, you can always hit that thumbs up button. And if you want to hear more rants and ravings, we do have Black Panther coming up pretty soon. You can always hit that subscribe button. So, I already have my tickets. Have you gotten yours yet?
No, but I'll go.
Okay. So, thanks so much, and we'll talk to you guys next time.